Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Today, we're actually discussing about the seagulls, and I have Joe from the Albion Obsessed podcast. How are you doing, Joe?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not too bad. A bit disgruntled after not getting 3 points yesterday, but I'm sure we'll get onto that. But yeah,
That
not too bad.
that was one game that everyone was expecting 3 points from. So yeah, I'm sure that you must be disappointed about that.
Well, that's why we didn't win it because everyone was expecting it. We normally surprise people, so yeah, we don't do well when we're the expected ones to win.
Before we do start, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your podcast as well?
Yeah, of course. So we started the podcast, Albion Obsessed, at the start of this season. After doing quite not too successful, but it was really fun. Myself and my friend Toby done one over the Euros as well, and we decided to just focus on the club that we both support. I've been interested in football media and football journalism since for as long as I can remember, and to actually get get into it and get doing a podcast and running a Twitter page, etc. It's been really fun. So something we hope to continue, of course. But yeah, it's been really good.
Awesome, that's great. Again, I have to say this, but please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Late Winner Show. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for all kinds of football news that's been happening all around the world. And yeah, let's get started. Everyone's surprised of how Brighton are doing this season. I think we did a season preview before the season preview on our channel, and we said it that but Brighton will again be probably involved in a relegation battle, but you know they've been very impressive this season. Potter's impressive tactical decision making and his team's attractive football. You know they were still they were still the candidates to go down, but what we've seen this season is definitely something else. And so, having said that, they're already fourth. They're already occupying the fourth position in the Premier League. I think they're about 10 points off the relegation zone. The inevitable question that comes off is precisely what actually changed since last season. I think the answer is probably not that much, but where inevitably the expected goal statistics actually comes in. So but what do you think has Joe, what do you think has changed from last season, and why Brighton are doing so well this season?
Yeah. So first of all, you said obviously everyone's quite surprised that of where we are in the table. I don't think anyone is as surprised as the Brighton fans to see us flying so high. As you say, we've been playing really good football for the last 2 seasons. What's changed? It's really fine margins. A little bit of luck going for us. Actually scoring the chances that we create. Funnily enough, this season our expected goals, which everyone associates to Brighton, hasn't actually been as impressive as it was last season. So it's a stat that I don't pay much attention to be honest. Um, I look at the final score. That's at the end of the day the only stat that matters really is how many goals you actually do get into the net. But yeah, as you say, not much has changed. Graham Potter has been building something for the last 3 years. Obviously, we had some strange times when football stopped and fans couldn't get into the stadium. I think that halted a lot of his plans, and um, the players felt it a lot with the fans not being at the Amex. And I think you're seeing a real difference this year that the fans can get behind the team and push them on to get those results that maybe we wouldn't have got last season for sure. Like, example, the Leicester game when we won 2-1 last season, I'll go out and say that we would have lost that game. And as well, the Arsenal game,
Hmm.
it was quite a dull affair. But again, last season we'd probably lose that game. So as I say, really fine margins. And yeah, thing is, we'll see how we fare against the big boys, because obviously we've got Man City and Liverpool coming up. Two teams that last season we actually beat. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
I think that's yeah. I mean, even me, like even even me. Obviously, I've been following them for quite a while, and I never expected them to perform such at such a high level. In terms of like where they are actually, it's some things definitely, as you mentioned, definitely something's changed in their side, and you can see it on the pitch. Like everyone's wanting to contribute onto the pitch, even though feel like you saw it last season as well, like when with Liverpool, when there's
Mm.
a major impact or when there's a major player who is missing from the team. When Van Dijk actually went missing, the whole team actually went down a little bit. Obviously there were a lot more problems, but even this time, like when you saw Ben White leaving for Arsenal, I definitely felt like that's going to be one piece that I think Brighton were not able to replace. And you felt like this was one of the reasons that why Brighton might struggle.
Yeah, with Ben White, it's a funny one because I think 90% of non-Brighton fans were saying, "Oh, Ben White leaves, Brighton are going to struggle.
Yeah,
They're not going to be able to replace him, as you say." But I say it to everyone that asked me this question. Ben White wasn't even our best centre back last year. You
yeah,
look at Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Dan Burn, Joel Veltman. These are all very, very capable players that have played at the highest level that can 100% step into those boots that Ben White has left empty. Um, Obviously, I know Ben White has a massive potential, huge. He could go on and be England captain if he really knuckles down and gets to that point. He's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, but
hmm
from a Brighton point of view, we have the capabilities to um, fill that void. We've got two youngsters coming through as well, Hayden Roberts and 𝗕𝗲𝗏, who look really good. We've got plenty of players out on loan as well, like of Ostergaard, Van Heck, etc., who can come back and fill those sort of gaps, if you like. So yeah, it's not a big one for me, to be honest. And when people were writing us off because we're selling a player for £50 million, then yeah, I say let them carry on, because we'll take that money, we'll reinvest it in the squad, and look at us now, we're doing better for it. So yeah,
yeah. Talking about one defender that Brighton lost, we're gonna talk about the other defender who actually came in, which was Shane Duffy, right? They I think the remarkable resurrection of Shane Duffy at Brighton took like a remarkable turn against, and I'm going to talk about the last game that they played, which was against Arsenal. He showed a different side to his game in the 0-0 draw at the Amex Stadium. He we all know, like, Duffy is renowned for his physical qualities inside the box. He played a very key role in in Brighton's clean sheet. He was so high, he was engaging so much higher up the pitch, and it's not something that he only showed in that particular game, but he's actually doing that in most of the in most of the games. Head coach Graham Potter said in an interview Shane was fantastic. He showed real courage because he was giving up, because he was having to go with Smith Rowe quite often. That's a big physical demand. When you stereotype what Shane is, he's a big center back that heads it away and defends his box really, really well, which is the easy description for him. We all know, like, when Ben White, sorry, the he went from 35 out of 38 Premier League appearances in Chris Hughton's final season to only 19 appearances in Potter's first season in charge, um, in 2019-2020. The drop that was caused by the 20 million signing of, I guess, Adam Webster. That all, and then obviously the Joel and Joel Veltman, obviously, who was signed from Ajax. What do you think has changed for Duffy, and how has he transformed his game for Brighton this season?
yeah. Well, Shane Duffy is a guy that is obviously hugely respected at Brighton. Obviously, he was a massive part of our promotion squad in 16-17. Incredible partnership with 𝗕𝗲𝗕𝗏. He said in multiple interviews since he's been back that he feels like he's home now. He went through a lot personally as well. He lost his father tragically, and obviously had a really tough time up in Scotland with Celtic. Was getting threats left, right, and centre. Toxicity on social media is something that me and Toby speak about a lot on our podcast, and he was certainly a victim of that. And he's come back to Brighton, obviously, to a place that he's adored. And I don't think he's changed overly much, because we know his qualities. We know he's capable of keeping clean sheets, and the partnership with Lewis Dunk as well. We know what he's about. So I'm really happy. Obviously, he's come back and is doing so well. Obviously, you mentioned there's a slight change to his game where he's sort of participating more higher up the pitch, maybe from set pieces, etc., corners, free kicks. And it's been really good to see that obviously he's got a goal. He's had a lot more chances, notably against Arsenal. He probably should have scored. He was disappointed with that. Again, really solid yesterday against Norwich. So, yeah, I feel like he's just come in. Obviously, Graham Potter's put that little bit more confidence in him, which is great to see. And I feel like that's all he needed, really, was Graham Potter to put his arm around him and say, look, you are part of my plans. You will be here this year. I said it in pre-season when he started a few of the pre-season games. I said, it looks like Shane Duffy's here to stay, which I'm all for. A lot of Brighton fans said, no, he's going to go out on loan. He's going to get sold. We're going to bring 𝗕𝗲𝗓𝗏 in, but 𝗕𝗲𝗓𝗏 went out on loan and Shane Duffy's part of the plans. As I say, that confidence has done leaps and bounds for him, and long may it continue. We've seen his real quality this year. He's doing it for club and country. So yeah, really, really happy for him.
Yeah, you mentioned about club and country, because even in this international break, I think he scored in one of in the 4-0 victory against, I don't remember who, but yeah, he definitely scored. He was on the score sheet. He's had definitely 12 attempts from inside the box in the Premier League, 4 more than any other player. Definitely, you must feel like that's a good sign, and that's a good thing that he's brought into his game, because he definitely, Brighton are not known for their the attacking game. So they when they create their chances, they need to take it. That's what I think. That's what I feel about it. A team like who has their formation set up, and they play in a very well defined system, for them to make sure that when they get their chances, they have to take it. So because you felt like yesterday, I think they were a little bit lucky to get this 0-0 draw, because I think Kennedy's the Norwich City players actually defended pretty well. So what did he actually make of the match for yesterday?
Extremely lackluster performance from us.
Yeah.
Some as we said at the start, that we were 100% expecting to go out and attack Norwich and exploit their weaknesses, which they've shown over all of their games so far. We have for sure that the quality to break them down and create the chances to score the goals. We did have a few chances. 𝗕𝗲𝗓𝗏𝗏 made a fabulous save from Trossard. Obviously, 𝗕𝗲𝗓𝗏 is someone that we hold in high regard as well at Brighton. Spent a year with us, done a really good job. So, yeah, I feel like a draw was maybe a fair result. Both teams had some really great chances to score. Dan Burn, I've got to single him out for his 2 fantastic challenges on Josh Sargent and Timo Pukki, denying them the chances to score. Obviously, Shane Duffy clearing off the line. But yeah, other than that, as I say, really lackluster performance. Expecting maybe a little bit more from 𝗂𝗽𝗀𝗁 and when 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗏 came on. But, I can understand why 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗏 was maybe a bit more reserved after being out for 10 months and this being his first Premier League game back. So, yeah, it's positive signs to have him back. Hopefully he can start against Man City and show the qualities that he did before he got injured. But yeah, we need to show a lot more against Man City for sure,
Yeah,
to even have a chance of getting anything from that game.
yeah. To be honest, we always discuss, we do the weekly review roundups on our podcast for the Premier League, and we talked a little bit about the Brighton, in the couple of weeks ago in our podcast, and I'm quite looking towards that game against Man City. I remember when they played against them last season, and that comeback from 2-0 down was crazy. Like, that game definitely changed within that, in the
Yeah,
second half, and how they actually managed to actually turn that around against
yeah,
against the City
and
side, who usually defend really, really well.
And crazily, that was the first game back with fans after obviously fans being
Yeah.
banned. I was at that game. I was part of the eight
Oh, nice.
thousand, and yeah, that was probably the best game I've ever been to at the Amex for sure. Even with 8,000 fans, we made a hell of a noise, and the players responded. Obviously, Big Dan Burn getting the winning goal. Not quite sure how he got it out of his feet, but he managed to do it somehow. But yeah, as you mentioned, an incredible comeback. Obviously, I know Man City were down to 10 men, rightly so as well. So yeah, hopefully we can repeat that um, on Saturday.
Yeah, I think I would like it if you could repeat it, because definitely my club is in tatters at the moment, which is Man United, and I would like it if somebody else other than, like, who are top above than us, can definitely go ahead and drop some points. But yeah, we'll leave that discussion for a later time.
Well, I mean,
You
if
you, you
if,
know
if we're winning and we're above you, we're not dropping points. So
I'm
we'll
I'm
beat you to the Champions League place.
I'm definitely okay you guys winning, then definitely, City
Yeah, for
going ahead
sure.
and winning them. Recently got the news that, Welbeck actually got injured, and I think he's out for about a couple of months or 3 months.
Mm.
The partnership of, Trossard and Mope, we all know that's definitely a really, really good thing, and really good partnership that's been growing. I at least saw like a good partnership building between Mope and Welbeck as well up top. How much do you think that's gonna affect in the coming months in the attacking side for Brighton?
Hugely, because it means we haven't got a second option, which Welbeck was used for. Obviously, Malpay is by far our first choice.
Yeah,
I feel like he's done really well this season. We've seen a different side to him. Maybe I mentioned it on my podcast because he's just had a newborn as well. I know what that's like because I've got one as well. So it must have been a huge change for him and a massive weight on his shoulders when his girlfriend or fiance or wife, I don't know, was pregnant. That takes a lot of your headspace.
hmm
And obviously now the baby's here, the baby's safe, his partner's safe. We're seeing maybe a more relaxed, no more pay. Obviously had a great start to the season. I think 3 or 4 goals. Um, and yeah, as I said, Danny Welbeck provides a different option, and to not have that is really gutting. We saw his extremely well taken header against Leicester. Yeah, I feel like it's such a shame because, as you say, that partnership could be a really huge thing. But Danny Welbeck doesn't get enough games because of his injuries to get that partnership really going, which is such a shame. Obviously, we know what he's done. Obviously, at Man United, at Arsenal, we know what he's capable of. I think he had one of the highest goal returns in appearances for England, which is crazy.
yes.
To have a player like him at Brighton, we're talking we used to be a League One, League Two side, and now we've got England internationals throughout the squad. Lewis Dunk, Adam Lallana, uh, Danny Welbeck. So yeah, really gutting for him. Really hope he can come back and get a few games before the end of the season. But I can see this really hindering his career because these injuries just keep happening. 3 months out, 2 months in, 3 months out again. The same as what happened to Daniel Sturridge as well towards the end of his career. Obviously, he's still playing. I don't know what league he's playing in, but yeah, it's a similar thing. But yeah, gutted for him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely well said, because even I felt like, yeah, when I obviously, not actually watched live a lot of games that Brighton's played in, but definitely watched and follow them like through the highlights, and just reading about them, like what's going on around the club. And even, I think you might know a little bit more about this. Like, Graham Potter was having this discussion with the Tottenham Hotspur head coach job, which obviously I think that got declined, and then he stayed at Brighton. So you must be really delighted in terms of what he was trying to build, and now it's actually coming along. So that's definitely a nice thing to see.
Yeah,
Final question for
for sure.
you, or maybe a penultimate question, because I have one more question after this. But
Yeah, of course.
the do you feel, being a Brighton fan, and I don't know how much, like, since when have you been following Brighton? Is this the strongest Brighton squad that has been in the Premier League?
I think you have to say yes because obviously we're a Premier League side now.
Yeah,
There's teams that maybe I've had more of a connection to over the recent years, but in terms of quality, in terms of what these players can do, 100%, this is our strongest squad. Graham Potter, as you say, has been building something for the last 3 years. He's turned down probably multiple job requests. Um, there's talks of him being linked with the England job, Newcastle, Tottenham,
yeah,
Arsenal, you name it. Yeah, we're so blessed to have a manager like him. Um, we're so blessed to have a team that we have and to be in the position we are because we've come from nothing. We were 90 minutes away from not existing. Um,
yeah.
and now to see us fourth in the Premier League, it sends shivers down my spine. I just got a shiver down my spine talking about it, and it always continues to do it. People don't really know about the Brighton story. We've seen it in the press for the last fucking two. Sorry, can you swear on this podcast?
No, no, it's fine. Totally cool.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah,
For like the last 2 weeks, Newcastle saying, "Oh, how hard done by they are." They've not been where we have been. They've not been as low as we have been. I understand they've not had a good relationship with their owner, but has your owner almost made you go out of existence? No. Have you been 90 minutes away of not being a football club anymore? No. So I think people have to count their blessings and realize that look at other clubs. Bury going out of business, Bolton almost going under. Look at what's happening at Derby.
Darby. Yeah.
So yeah, we're loving it. We're reaping the rewards of sticking by the club and having a fan owner, which is incredible. I stand by that. We have the best owner in the league, probably the best owner in the country, maybe even the world. I know that maybe sounds a bit biased, being a Brighton fan and him being a Brighton fan too. But I don't think you could find a story like ours as inspiring as the fans, the community, all across Brighton is just incredible.
I
And it's a family and it's together. That's our slogan, is together, and it has been for so many years.
I think you're spot on, because even, like, these are the stories that you, like, as a football fan, you actually like that, because even if you rewind like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when actually Leicester City were struggling so much, in their previous season, when they actually in the season before, where they actually won it all, they were probably 20th or 19th or something like that in the, I think, March or April, and they went on that extraordinary run under Nigel Pearson, for about 7 to 8 games, where they actually just survived. And look just what happened the next season. So that's all,
Exactly.
those are the things that, just that surviving that one season or a couple of seasons, just making sure that this team stays together, is what you need. You look at even
Yeah.
Aston Villa, like, that last game against West Ham, I think in 2019 2020 season, I think, where they actually survived, and look at them, like, they're just They just
Exactly.
they played so well last season, and obviously they
And
reaped in the rewards of selling their most
yeah,
important player, and now they're doing good. They're doing good. So that can definitely be the case for Brighton. And the Premier League still started. It's still, we're just what, 8 games in the season, and you guys are still like what, 4 points away from the top spot. You guys could have actually got the top spot if you would have beaten Crystal Palace like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago, which would have been crazy.
yeah,
Seeing Brighton in the first spot of the Premier League. But
for
these are
sure.
the stories that you actually love, and that's the reason we all love football, right?
Exactly, and with Leicester, they're a team as well that have been in League One, the third tier of English football. They've had that rise as well. Maybe not as um, big as our rise, but they've been in League One. They've come up to the Championship. They've stormed the Championship. They've found Jamie Vardy, who's done absolute wonders for them and broken
Yeah.
records left, right, and centre. They've won the Premier League. They've won the FA Cup. They've won the Community Shield. Um, and I hope that's the direction we go in as well. And it
Yeah.
absolutely could be. We could realise our potential, and we could be. We could do exactly the same. People laugh at me. I said at the start of the season, "Oh, we're going to do a Leicester," but people laugh at me. But it's not out of the realms of possibility. Leicester have proved that anything is possible, and with the backing of our fans, our chairman, our board, everything across Brighton, we could absolutely do it.
Yeah, I kept saying that the top four is pretty much decided. Up until last week, I kept saying that top four is decided. I don't know which order, if you ask me at the moment, but top four is decided, and we don't really want to talk about top four positions on the podcast. But I guess, and I'm not going to repeat this, but yeah, given what's been happening around Man United, I think the fourth spot is again open up for grabs, because it's definitely not great to see, what's happening over there. Um, Final question. What were your early season predictions for Brighton, and what are now your expectations from this season, and what are you thinking of getting out of this season?
Yeah, so we done a predictions video at the start of the season, but I
Mhm.
actually genuinely can't remember what I predicted. I think I said around 13th, 12th, 13th would be a really positive season for us, and a huge step in the right direction. I think that is 100% achievable this year. 12, 13, even 14th, I would be happy with. I think that would be our highest ever finish in the Premier League.
Mhm.
But now we're sitting fourth. We're getting some really good results where maybe we don't really deserve them. But that's another really positive thing, is that we haven't actually been playing that well. Um, but we've still been getting the results, which is always a really good sign. Um, as I say, we sit in fourth now. What do I see at the end of the season? Top 10 would be really
Mhm.
really good. But as I say, if it's 11th, if it's 12th, then it's still incredible. What an achievement it would be. But yeah, top 10 would be just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think being in the first half of the top half of the Premier League table, even come March, and then maybe see like what can Brighton even do better in the last couple of months, like maybe target a European spot, because maybe they're like a couple of points, 3 points behind that seventh or eighth spot. Even playing in a conference league, I think that might do wonders for the squad. Obviously, that Thursday Sunday schedule definitely becomes a little bit horrible for the teams
Yeah,
actually playing in Europe. So that might impact the next season. But definitely, and I think you as Brighton fan obviously would be excited for Brighton to play in Europe. And just as a normal football fan, even not saying as a Brighton fan, I think that would be exciting to see them in Europe, given what they've been doing in the last, since they got promoted in the
yeah.
Premier League. So I think that would be
Obviously,
definitely a good story.
people laugh about the conference Europa League or
Yeah.
whatever it's called, because Tottenham are there, and they can't even win games in that. But to be honest, it's a really good addition to the structure of European football, and gives the opportunity for clubs like us to actually get that experience of playing in Europe, and having a really good opportunity to compete in Europe, because I feel like if we are in that competition, we get to at least the quarterfinals. Given the squad that we have and what we're building. So that would be unbelievable to see, even in the Conference League, at a push to the Europa League. I'm not going to talk about the Champions League. But yeah, it's as I say, really good for the structure of European football. If we can get there, then yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think it just does wonders for a club like Brighton, even if they can get into the Conference League, as I said, that those European nights, even though they're not against the best sides in Europe, but it's still against a European side who are doing good in their own league. So it's definitely
Exactly.
something that to get that exposure and to get that European nights under your belt definitely helps as team building, right? So definitely we should let's see, let's not get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah,
but let's
keep
see
keep an eye out.
yeah, exactly.
We're certainly we're certainly going in this direction. So yeah, let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's check back in the next couple of months, like where
Yeah,
we're standing in come the new year. So Joe, again, I'll thank you again for coming on to our podcast, the Late Winner Show, definitely sharing your thoughts on what Brighton season has been and what was happening previously and what's changed. So thank you for all that. Yeah, and
no
thank you so
worries.
much.
No worries, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really good to chat to you. And obviously, yeah, once this is out, we'll share it. We'll get our fans involved. We'll see obviously what everyone makes of what I've said. Probably call it absolute rubbish, but yeah, really good to be on.
Yeah. I think you'd be okay. It's more like what the hell are you doing with a Man United fan? Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. But yeah, before we log off, definitely make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Do follow the Albion Obsessed if anyone's watching, and if you want to know more details about like what Brighton are doing, definitely good stuff happening at on their podcast. We'll leave the links in the description below. So definitely go ahead and check that out. That being said, Joe, thank you so much again for coming on our channel, and we should definitely do this one more time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see where we are at the end of the season, and we'll have a Premier League champions party. Cheers, mate.
Awesome.
Take
Yeah.
care.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye bye.